Welcome to American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? It's Monday in the States. We should be breaking down a thumping of Palace. You would have thought that game would have been played yesterday in South London, one of our favorite stadiums, Selhurst Park. Not the case. In the Premier League's infinite wisdom, they decided to cancel or postpone all of the matches over the previous weekend, just in anticipation for paying respects to dearly departed Majesty the Queen. And now what happened is we have matches postponed again, sir. We're headed into Europa League. That's the only game left for Manchester United in October. There's international break coming, and somehow, United's match on Sunday against Leeds Scum got canceled as well. It's gonna bite us in the ass. United was finally hitting some form. They were the best form of any team in the EPL heading into what should have been last game week. And now, dude, this season's already insane. If you look at the fixture congestion between now and the end of May when the Premier League was to finish, there was never a game week where there's basically not two games every single week. So this will fuck United. It's not good for United. Everything about respect, but what are they doing, sir? Sports are first. In America, they wouldn't be moving games around in the NFL.
Look, this is looking back on it, they made a big mistake. Obviously, they absolutely bottled it. This past weekend has to go through, cancel the games the following weekend, right? But now they canceled all the games this past weekend, and then some of the games the following weekend. So some teams, Chelsea, Liverpool, us, and Leeds, are now going to have to make up two games. It just becomes a nightmare, especially with the Winter World Cup. This screws United. Like you said, the funeral isn't even on the weekend. I don't know. You made that comment. It's also in London. This is Manchester. Obviously, United Leeds needs a lot of cops, and then the funeral procession needs a lot of police as well. But, I mean, if you're a criminal up in Manchester, you're like, there's going to be no cops here because they're all going down to work the funeral. They're telegraphing it pretty hard. Regardless, this just seems like rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Should have played last weekend. Did a huge, everyone wore the black armbands, moment of silence. It should have been the whole nation, world, seeing the mourning of the Queen, and then this weekend postpone it for the service. I think that'd be much cleaner. It's much fairer because then every team misses one game, and now you have everyone missing one and some missing two. And obviously, since we're just Muppets and we're Americans, we're just worried about United this season and seeing the crazy fixture schedule. Oh, by the way, we got a pod, all these games. It's going to be crazy. And we were on such a great run. Can we keep it up? Can we lose it? We do have this Europa League tune-up match before international break. I don't like this. It doesn't feel good. United start playing well, and then, the footballing gods postpone us 2 games.
It feels like, the COVID seasons, and obviously COVID's still around, but those first 2 years, there's a lot of stop-start, a lot of games canceled. There are, teams that had half their squad out with COVID, so they had matches pushed. This year, it felt like they were going to just bite their lip and just like, no matter what, we're just having matches because the congestion fixture was so tight. So tight. And this is the same for every European football league because, they're sending players to the World Cup in Qatar in a couple months. They have to work around that. That being said, everyone else played. Even other sports in England played. They were playing rugby, they were playing cricket, but they didn't play football. Like you said, if you're
I do not understand. I really don't understand it because
Premier League decided it was on them.
No, I know it, but it would have been better to just play and remember the Queen and then postpone it for this. I think looking back on it, they would have done it differently, right? I don't think there's been that great of a reaction to it. I think a lot of footballers, like Peter Crouch, said the same thing on Twitter. I tweeted it out. And then now you're going to have to postpone certain matches, not other matches. Like Arsenal are playing in London. That's fine. But we can't play Leeds in Manchester because of, I guess, the number of cops required. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Different day.
It's all over.
It is on Monday. Just confirm it's the 19th. So it's like
it makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. You can take a train in 2 hours. I don't get it. This just is. It's bad for United. That's all I understand it from the Muppet perspective. This is just going to be bad for Manchester United because A, we were playing well, and B, we're going to have to make up these games. And say if we're in a race for top 4, then that becomes the who do you rotate, et cetera, late in the season. I don't know. They could make them up in January, February, but usually they push them and punt them to the end. So I don't like the way this is going so far this season, and the Premier League just screwed Manchester United, which is not a new thing. But, sir, a quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the pod, we are for fans, by fans. We love that Muppet bias take from the couch. That is what we're trying to give you. And part of that for fan, by fans vision is we want you guys to support us directly. We have no commercial sponsors on the podcast. Please, if you want to support us, check out Patreon, patreon.com/American Red Devils. We post a behind-the-scenes episode every month. We give away pins, stickers, scarves, shirts, you name it, and it's a great way for fans to support us and the small-time operation that is the podcast. We're sweating here in the bunker. It's a humid one in Northern California. Apparently, there's a hurricane hitting Baja, California. I haven't heard of that ever before, but it's really humid here.
It's humid in the pod room, too.
It's humid here. And also check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com. Great fan-generated blog content. And click on store. Great merch. Glazers Out scarves. Other Glazers Out merch, as well as our 1958 Munich memorial scarf as well. Everything you buy supports the small-time operation. Alex, tell them about iTunes reviews as well. You can like, subscribe, write reviews. Helps us as well.
iTunes reviews or a 5-star review of the American Red Devils, wherever you listen, whether it be on iTunes or Spotify or wherever. It's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically. And even better, from now into perpetuity, we are running a free giveaway. All you have to do, write a 5-star review wherever you listen and send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world. We're sending out orders right now. Far sides, Southeast Asia, UK, Northern Europe. Great way to support the pod. Here's a great 5-star review from Coits Fan. My favorite pod is diehard Muppet in the Midwest. I don't find a lot of people to talk EPL or United with. Staying up to date with you lads allows me to be informed or laugh along the way. Looking forward to more fun this season. P.S. Anthony ? Appreciate the review. Appreciate all the fans out there giving those hot 5-star reviews. It goes a long way to helping us get found organically by other Muppets that can't believe what is going on. We got no football. It's going to fuck us big time.
Hey,
all the momentum.
First of all, let's get to the reviews. The reviews are awesome. You guys are killing it. The envelopes here are stacked up. Alex is
it's over here.
Alex is stacking up all the envelopes, sending all the stickers and everything out. So really appreciate that. We're at 495 on iTunes. So if you listen to iTunes, 5 away from 500. That's a big milestone for us. We really appreciate it. We're also close to our 400th episode, if you can believe it. Since 2017, we've been doing this. So enough about us. Let's get into it. Crystal Palace obviously postponed, but thank God, Europa League. Hans and Franz said, Queen who? That's what Hans and Franz says. They're getting back into it. Let's go. Sir, the theme is growing on me. It's got a nice little rhythm to it, you know? And the melody in the background, you know? I'm starting to realize...
Keep selling it. Keep shucking it.
We're a Europa League club.
That's it.
United.
We're a top 6 club, bro.
All right, here we go. This week, Sheriff FC. I don't even know if they're FC, but I just like that name. We're playing them group stage, game week 2, Thursday, September 15th, 9:45 a.m. Pacific, 12:45 p.m.
Sir. Give me a shot at that stadium.
Sorry, we got 9:45 a.m. Pacific, 12:45 p.m. Eastern, Bolshaya Sportnaya Arena. Let's go. If there's ever a better stadium to be playing at, we're going to Moldova, the whole squad. I think Ten Hag's to be playing the number ones. We got to keep sharp, and that's what I expect to see. Do you think he's going to play the kids or play number one?
No, I think that's right. I would have, if we had played on the weekend, if we had had a game next weekend, I would have expected the rotation that we saw in the first game week against Real Sociedad. That being said, there's no matches for this club, at least, between now and until the City match at the beginning of October. So I would say you got to go full guns blazing. That starting 11. Scotty McSauce back in that destroyer role, sir. That's what we're going to get.
All right, Hans and Franz beat drop. I'm all back. Remember, I was really upset about playing Europa League.
Oh, really upset.
Now I'm all in it. I'm all in. Let's go. I like that theme.
That's all we got, buddy.
You know, I got to talk to Hans and Franz. They got to get that intro. There's a fake beat drop as well in there. They kind of disguise. It's like a fake one. And then they come with the fire at the end. They need something in the middle. That's what it's missing.
Well, you know, that's just to cut out the pedestrian fans versus like the hardcore Europa
Too much
League
of a build-up.
heavies.
It's a long
we know
build.
it so well. We know it so well.
Well, if you've ever been to Eastern Europe and you've been to a discotheque, the DJs, they like that long build-up, right?
Have you ever been to
gotta be
Moldova?
like-
Have you ever been to?
I've never been to a
discotheque
discotheque
in
in
Moldova?
We've never played Sheriff. They haven't been around long, but as far as their fixtures, I can go through it, but you wouldn't know anyone on the fixture list, and there would be no real reference. The only reference is they did beat Ammonia, who is in our group. They beat them 3-0. And I think it doesn't matter who they are. Manchester United need to show up and slap them up and down the pitch and get 3 points. I think that's really the MO. Football Club Sheriff, FC Sheriff, so I got it wrong there, commonly known as Sheriff Tiraspol, or simply Sheriff, is a Moldovan professional football club based in Tiraspol, a city located in the unrecognized breakaway state of Transnistria.
You always get me on the pronunciation. You keep going. You're the Eastern European
Transnistria, and this is the whole another reason why playing Europa League is it's just like look
at that founding. That founding year. They're
founded in
Nickelodeon's
1997 as Tiraspol, and rebranded the following year as Sheriff. Is quickly established itself within the Moldovan Football League. The Wasps, as they're known, record their first debut in the first league in the 98-99 season when they also won their first trophy, the Moldovan Cup. I'd like to learn more about that. They have since amassed 20 championship titles, 11 cups, and 7 Super Cups, all records in Moldovan football. On the European stage, they've reached the group stage of the UEFA Europa League on 5 occasions and became the first ever Moldovan side to reach the group stages of the Champions League in 21-22, where they would go on to beat eventual champions Real Madrid. Wow. So they did beat Real Madrid in 21-22 in the group stage. Interesting. And the club takes its current name from its sponsor, Sheriff, a company which operates various industries in Transnistria. Home games are played in yellow and black kits at the Sheriff Stadium, to which the club moved in 2002, and it has a capacity of 12,746. So if you're one of those lucky traveling supporters, you get to be one of the 12,000 in Moldova. And you know what? There will be United fans there, and that is why our away support is the best in all of Europe.
Because no matter where the game's played, that Red Army, they're going to be traveling in force. Quite a flight to get yourself to Moldova, but hey.
You want to give us some history on Moldova?
Eastern European country, former Soviet republic, but then after the fall of the Soviet Union in 91, 89, things got a little shakier, has varied terrain, including forests, rocky hills, and vineyards. Wine regions, known for that, sir. We looked at their GDP.
Can you pronounce the name of the wine region there?
Nistrania.
Nistrania.
Over its reds and Codru, some of the world's largest sellers, sir. So
and the capital? Gotta get the capital city there.
Chisinau.
There you go.
That's not right. So either way, Moldova, big time for Manchester United. First time going there. I'm sure their home fans are gonna be all fired up, sir. It's not every day that they host European giant Manchester United, 3-time winner of the Champions League and 1-time winner of the Europa League. But either way, big match. Excited for it. Excited for it because it's football. And like you said, I think we're going to see the first team action. Hopefully there's no turf. I actually don't know. I remember last year in Europa League playing on some turf. So hopefully we get a break from that.
And, just a little more on Moldova. I like to look at their economy. What do they do? So obviously post-breakup in 91 from the USSR, they had a transition to a more liberalized economy. And today, their biggest export is insulated wire. So if you need insulated wire, you know where to go. Hot rolled iron bars. They export 3.6% of their GDP is just seats.
Sunflower seeds.
Yeah, but seats, people sit in them. That's 3.6%. Wine is 4.15%, and seed oils as well, and some wheat. So insulated wire and hot rolled iron bars. There you go. If you're looking for those, you can contact Sheriff FC. They will locate you in the right direction. And what does all this mean? All this means that Manchester United should win. They like to play the 4-3-3, getting to the footballing side of things. You wouldn't know anyone on their team, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to go through them and stomp them. This is going to be like preseason. United needs to be winning big here. We need to be playing the big boys. Speaking of the big boys, let's look at the physio room injuries. Palestri still with that foot injury. Donny van de Beek with a knock. Brandon Williams off the reservation. And then Martial. Come on, Martial. Let's go. Get back.
Hey, we'll talk about the news in a second, sir. He was in the papers recently about another injury. You and I, when we did those pods back when under Ole, we weren't too surprised, especially that broken back that Rashford was playing under. But would be nice to have Martial in the mix. We do have enough options given that there's no weekend game. So it's all about go full guns blazing, get back up in the group. This is a big game because I think these are leaders at the moment after they beat Ammonia FC.
That is true. Given those injuries, what is your lineup for FC Sheriff?
Here, I'm going full guns blazing. I'm going De Gea, Net, Delo, Varane, Martinez, Malacia. I guess, I would have normally picked the Casemiro Fred midfield, hoping to see that kind of give it another go, but it's going to be first team action, and that starting 11 that hasn't changed. It's going to be McTominay, Eriksson, Bruno. Up front, I think I'm going to do Ronaldo. Ronaldo up front, Marcus on the left, and then Sancho on the right. Who you got?
You're going to bench Anthony, really?
Yeah, I'm going to bench Anthony.
Like the Dutch coach is going to bench his prized player? That's not happening, sir.
Then you give me your 11.
Dave saves world number 1 in net. You're going to get Delo. You're going to get Martinez, Varane, and Malacia. You're going to get McTominay, Eriksson, Bruno. You're going to see Sancho. Oh,
it's hard. It's a
Sancho, Rashford, Anthony. It's not that hard. There you go. I think that you got to be playing the top dogs because even if it's like just a cruise win 4-0, you can get kids in, right? Because you have the 5 subs, and then you got to keep that mojo flowing. Like it's just that I just really think if we go a month and you're not seeing that top roster playing. And then we play shitty. It could be, they could slap it out. Holland could slap it out of us, with like a 4-goal performance. Booking the bookies, obviously United major favorites here, -500 to win. The draws +550. Sheriff to win +1100. If you're feeling frisky, you could put something on Sheriff, but I doubt it. Given those are the odds, what's your score prediction?
I like your score prediction. You called 4-0 like a minute ago. I'll take 4-0. I'll take that. What do you got?
You gonna steal my score prediction?
You got it. I'm not above that.
5-1. They get garbage time goal because we put in the kids. But that's really it. And by kids, I mean Lindelof and McGuire at the back. But yeah.
Fred.
And Fred. All right, sir. Let's get into the news. United in the news. All right, we've kind of extensively covered this, but
we're going to keep going.
As season ticket holders, we get
that email. I got that email this morning.
Here.
It fucking ruined my morning, sir.
They said, following extensive conversations with the Premier League, Greater Manchester Police, and the Trafford Council, a decision's been made to postpone our Premier League fixture against Leeds. This is due to Greater Manchester Police supporting forces across the United Kingdom at locations and events of high significance following the passing of Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. Apparently, they're calling it off for safety reasons. They could play it behind closed doors. I would be okay with that as well, just to get the game in. Again, I come at this from the point of view of look at the fixture schedule, look at the Winter World Cup. One game is enough. If you need to close it to fans, close it to fans. But there's a reason why they wouldn't do that, and that's because the Glazers want their monies. And obviously, they would have to refund us, the season ticket holders, and they don't want to do that. So they're going to push it, and that kind of screws the players, kind of screws the team. But, Chelsea and Liverpool are postponed as well, which is weird because there's tons of games going on in London. I think there's 2 games in London. This whole cancel because I'm more English than you and I love the Queen more than you, and then come back and then actually cops aren't there. It's just a little much, this whole thing. It's been really mismanaged. I don't understand it. I don't live under a monarch, so I'm ignorant here, but I just don't understand the idea that you have to shut everything off for a weekend. Why can't you remember the Queen at the games? And then you would avoid this. So
that's what they call it, a monarch, sir.
I don't know.
That's what they call
I don't
it.
know. I don't. But the thing is, we're not there. So maybe this is something everyone needs. Like, we can't play, and everyone's really on board, and we can't relate. So if you have a different view, tweet us, email us. We're happy to hear it, read on the pod. But for me, I just think, look at the players. Look what they've been through. Look at these crazy fixtures. I've never seen anything like this, playing twice a week. The Winter World Cup. Obviously, that's a racket as well. So we can go down the list, and it's like COVID was a racket, this and that. And then you cancel 2 games, and there's tons of time for us to play matches right now. It's just players getting up to fitness, the whole deal. Horrible timing. It was dealt with horribly by the Premier League, and obviously United get screwed.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the move would have been, and we can't speak to it because we're coming from a different lens, because obviously we don't live in a monarch, like you said, or even whatever kind of government they do, because I don't think they technically live in a monarch, because she ain't making the calls, or at least the new king isn't. The move would have been like,
no,
keep
I mean,
the matches.
have one.
I know, have one present.
Because I've been like,
the Canadians put her on the money too. I mean, it's all kind of foreign to Americans, obviously, given our history and what we believe in. But the big thing is, the move would have been have the games over last weekend, and then like have every chance to kiss the ring. They could play "God Save the Queen." You could have like the whole band, and at every stadium, 10 celebrations of the Queen, the big to do, and the armbands, and the minute of silence, and that would have been the move, because you basically just like honor her over literally the sport of the country, which is, for many people, football. And instead they missed that. But Premier League is a kind of a, it's not a well-run organization.
So they're not going to miss it because they're going to do it probably this week.
That's not a problem, is they're going to squeeze it in.
But United aren't going to get it.
They should have done what you just said. I was going to get to that too. They should just do it behind closed doors, which still screws the fans. But like, you need to get the games in, because I had to say it, the people that they care the least about are the players. Like, they couldn't give one fuck about the players. These players are basically being worked into the ground, and they're like, well, if they have to play one game every 2 days in the spring, which is probably what will happen, it's not any loss to the people who run the FA. You don't think they care?
I mean, look, this is it. Let's close the book on this one. Like, we're good. Like, it's just like United aren't playing until October. It's absolutely, it's a waste of a month. Absolutely just waste of a month. And you're going to be looking at this month when we're playing like 9-10 games in like May, and be like, why didn't we play like more? And
that's exactly. We're going to make it up.
I'm just worried about.
Insane.
I'm worried about like
injuries,
important games counting late in the season. We have to like rotate. Injuries due to playing way too much. Like, we can talk about that. That did come out, but it's already the sport is just so demanding on the players. And then you look at us rotate for saucy dad. We looked ridiculously awful. That's more what I'm concerned about. So, and it's been so long since we had a normal season, 3 years really. And then this Winter World Cup throws a wrench in it. So it's not only like the Queen that presents like a problem in the canceling the games. The Winter World Cup is really what is to blame here.
Right,
so if it was a normal season they did this, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's only compounded by a Winter World Cup, which is absolutely insane.
But they should have that in mind. Like, they should be like, well,
there shouldn't be a Winter World Cup.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We've been fighting that for a decade. But once they know, hey, the season's kind of nuts as is, because we have to accommodate a World Cup in the middle of the season.
Hey, we got to accommodate. Qatar gets priority here.
Clearly.
We got to, and that's what the FIFA was corrupt. They were the ones, and that like less. They're less corrupt now. They were so corrupt you couldn't see anything.
Let's see who gets the next World Cup. You're saying that until like Saudi Arabia gets the 2030 World Cup.
Save us. Next bit of news here. Interesting one here. Free agent. This is kind of hearkening to the American side of sports. Picking up free agents. Diego Costa went to Wolves. You see that one?
Got a face. He's back.
Could use a number 9. We could use a number 9.
He's mean mugging. I'll tell you what, he's mean mugging.
He's a mean dude. I would like him at United. Give him a run. Give him a run out. But he went to Wolves. So the free agent we're being linked to is Santiago Arias. He got basically cut from Atletico Madrid. He's a Colombian right back. And apparently we're linked to him because you look at right back, we're light, need bodies. and I watched some film on him, and all I can say, he's a body. And he can play
He's
right
a
back.
warm body.
He's a body that can play right back, and he is fitter than you or me. So sign him up, bring him to United. But again, obviously it would be a punt here. But I like this move, being scrappy and opportunistic where we need bodies. We couldn't sign a right back. I did call for this while loan to buy. Get somebody in. We need bodies, and this is a great point. Diego Dalot goes down, grabbing his knee against Sheriff.
Right.
Need somebody. Right, we obviously have Wan-Bissaka, but
He's
then you're
not
going to look
rated.
at, fine, say something happens to Lowe, out for the season. Then Wan-Bissaka can't play every game, You need coverage. This would do it. I like this type of business.
He also, to AWB, he's obviously been frozen out by the man. He hasn't played at all. Like, didn't play against the last team, Real Sociedad. They even put Lindelof in the right back, and that didn't go
Spit in
well.
his soup.
That too. So it hasn't worked out for AWB, which is a bummer. But this is the kind of move that I'm not above. One of our best transfers of the summer was a free transfer from Eriksson. And this guy, he's 30. You think he still have legs. He played for a top outfit in Atletico Madrid. Colombia, we have like the South American contingent getting stronger and stronger. I like this move if the guy can play, be a contributor, and be a warm body on the sideline. Because clearly, Erik ten Hag does not rate AWB. Move out AWB and bring in another guy, a little bit more experience. Why not?
Tape doesn't give you much, but
Not much.
he's from Medellin, Colombia.
Great town.
Played 12 games in La Liga last year. Had 1 goal. His current market value is around £3 million. So he's not good enough for Atletico Madrid. So that's where we're at. But I say sign him up, see how he does. Next bit of news here: Ronaldo's stunning £211 million transfer offer as he considers January Manchester United exit. Obviously, we're going to be listening to this in like 2 months' time. Ronaldo wants out. Ronaldo wants
already
out.
are. We
Ronaldo
already
wants
are.
out. Yeah, this is it.
Look at that fee. Look at $2 million, £2 million per week in wages.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the Live Golf Tour, if anyone's ever heard of that. Essentially, Ronaldo going to Saudi Arabia to play football against numpties, but get paid £200 million a year. I don't think that's Ronaldo. He seems to be wanting to play Champions League football. At least that was the narrative. This deal, I think, was on the table. He did turn it down, so I don't know why this is kind of coming back. But obviously, Saudi Arabia, lots of money. I don't know. I'm obviously not keen on them for a good number of reasons, including for the families looking for justice for 9/11, given that September 11th was just this weekend, or actually yesterday. So you have to shout that out as well.
Well, I think most importantly, like you said, this story's not going to go away because Ronaldo, he's a planet. He brings planetary news coverage, and he wanted to leave all summer, didn't get his move. Obviously, those rumors are going to they're going to stay hot in January, and now we're September 12th, like you said. I guess we're going to have 3 months of this shit as well. So, hey, I don't think this is the type of move he needs. He probably makes $100 million. I mean, how much money do you think he makes on his endorsements with his 450 million Instagram followers? So, like, he's good cash wise, I would imagine, for forever.
But here's the deal: United's not getting money from this, so it's just this is nothing. I don't know. Sorry, you throw it in here just to get me all fired.
Light
up.
news week. Light news week.
Light news. Okay, then we get back to the contract extension debate, which we had last pod. Great debate about Fred. I thought that was a riot.
But the news broke that they are expected to trigger basically all 5 players we mentioned are all getting an extension, at least a 1 year.
De Gea, Dalot, Shaw, Fred, and Rashford. Now, Rashford, you gotta give him like the full deal.
Right, a new deal.
Fred, you give him 2. Shaw, you give him 2. Dalot, you give him
New deal.
No, Dalot.
No. This guy ain't giving nothing out.
2 with an option. I give Luke Shaw. I give 1 with an option, and if you're over a certain weight or eat too many meat pies, you're out. I get out of the contract.
I say his wages should be
it should be tied to his weight. Yeah, seriously. And De Gea is like a 2-year with an option at the same wage.
No, you don't give him the same wage ever.
No, the problem here is you just have to give him the same wage just because you don't have any other options. And then with doing this deal, then you can get his back replacement.
You can't give him $350 a week.
You don't have a choice. That's why we're extending for Luke Shaw. It's because we don't have a choice.
No, this trigger, I agree. That is going to be at his current salary. But like, if you were to give him additional years, like you do not give De Gea. He's arguably not a top 5 keeper in the Premier League, let alone the number 1 paid keepers in the world.
Okay, never mind. We're not giving them new deals. We are planning on exercising their option
right.
of an additional year for each player. Got it.
Like they
Okay.
did with
I was
Pogba.
thinking about what type of deal you would give them if you were to give them a new deal. So, yes, I agree with extending them all by a year, which obviously is in United's right, and that is our advantage. And right now, it's probably just giving us cover so they can't start talking to clubs in January.
Right.
And that way Ten Hag can truly evaluate them and then see who he wants to get rid of. Going on, the next piece of news here from the Daily Mail. Manchester United reject 9 players offered to them this summer. Apparently, Pulisic was on that list. Depay was on that list. Casiedo was on that list.
Carrasco.
So a bunch of players were on the list. Where's all this news coming out now after the transfer window is over?
Any of those players, the reason I did this is kind of more of a discussion to prod the Bears. Like, were any of these players worth picking up? I mean, Moise Casiedo, he's a player that we could have bought for like £3 million. Obviously, United whiffed that one. He's a player. There's a little bit more midfield coverage now, given that, like, you know, there seems to be enough spots for everybody.
You probably buy Casiedo instead of Casemiro,
right,
you know,
for half the price.
Or even if you say Casemiro is 60, you pay 45 for Casiedo, then it's like, and he's younger with more potential. That's kind of where we should, you know, obviously I like Casemiro, but that's probably, I would always default to younger. Right. I like probably less value. You pay less and you get more value. Because Casemiro coming in out of shape, you've seen it, right? That's what you kind of get with these like big money guys who have done everything, unless they're Ronaldo and just like complete maniacs. Pulisic was no brainer.
Yeah.
Like for some reason he's frozen out. He's frozen out at Chelsea.
They're giving him away.
They were like trying to get rid of him. He's a player. He is a proper player. And obviously I know that because we're American. We're fans of him. I think he looked great at Manchester United. He's always kept his head down and tried to prove a point at Chelsea. I think there's such a great player there, great mentality there. And obviously I want to see him playing before the World Cup. So I want him to get out of Chelsea. But now Tuchel's sacked. So, oh my God.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. You know, that was the one I would like to see. I think even with an Antony, you know, you still could use another winger in the mix given, you know, beyond Alonga, it gets a little thin. They start relying on academy players.
He could play 10 too. He could play with Bruno.
Both sides.
Bruno plays, he could play both sides. Exactly.
Young, and I always wanted to see him come to United anyway. When Chelsea were in for him, you know, I wanted to come to Manchester United, of course, because
commercial potential.
And that too. It's like, come on. Ed Woodward, his eyes would be watering over knowing the deal he could be made here. But hey, it wasn't meant to be. One to keep an eye on. I always figured he would eventually come to United. Like, because how many, you know, Chelsea doesn't seem to be running a top tier football club at the moment. The guy that they have running is giving Joel Woodward a run for his money. Did you hear about this? The 4-4-3? That's what he was proposing?
No, I know.
12-man outfield. No gully. You don't need
Todd
a gully.
Bowley, you know, it's
hey,
like,
look at that shirt.
Yeah. But that's how Americans like to roll
He's very
sometimes.
rich.
Not like to know and like want to tell you how to do it. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like if you're a billionaire American guy coming and buy a football club, you're like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, wants to run the whole thing. I'm sure that's how he probably runs the Dodgers, and nobody tells him no. So Tuchel
right.
tells him no, fired. Yeah. What'd you make about Tuchel? Tuchel's interesting one to me because he just seems like self-sabotage all over the board. He was at PSG. Everyone was sitting on the bucket at PSG, like whinging, complaining. That whole locker room situation blew up in his face. Comes to Chelsea, wins the Champions League. Then Chelsea's like, obviously, due to Russia, Ukraine, it's like frozen. He could clearly move anywhere he wants. He's like the darling at the ball, and he decides to die on the loyalty sword at Chelsea as a manager when they get sacked like every like 1.5 years. He decides to be loyal to Chelsea.
And this is a new owner.
And then like the new owner comes in and like axes him. And I think he looks bad. Like at the time last season, he looked really good. Everyone wanted to hire him, United included. He should have taken a deal. And instead, he stays. New owner comes in and then axes him. That's a risk you take if you stay on. I don't know why he didn't make a move. That was a bad decision from him. And then he goes full troll, like blowing up the locker room. Like, I don't know. It's a bad look for him, and I think he's a decent manager.
I disagree, dude. It's not on him. He got fired by an idiot who doesn't even know what he's doing. He spent like 200 million pounds on center backs, and then they gave him 4 games.
No, he pushed Lukaku out, right?
Lukaku pushed himself out.
All the attackers are like the whole thing at Chelsea is like it all kind of the locker room isn't doing. Apparently every attacker is.
How long have we heard that from Chelsea locker rooms? For like 20 years?
No, but I'm just saying, like, it seemed to me that, like, when Chelsea was being sold and there was, like, they're all together, right? And Tuchel was like, I'm kind of going down with the ship. Like, he had the most value. Like, and then staying this season, he kind of went sour. Like, the whole Conte thing.
Yeah,
and
Conte.
And then, like, Lukaku leaving and Werner leaving and then them not playing well. It just kind of feels like Mourinho meltdown type of situation. And
I feel like the club is falling apart. Right, like the club was apparently well run by some respects. Right, they would fire managers at like too high of a clip, and they also had some big kind of academy players that went to other clubs and had huge success. Right, the De Bruyne's, the Salahs of the world. So like they always gave the semblance of a club that would just throw enough money at the problem that they'd eventually figure it out, and they won stuff. Like he did win the Champions League in a year that they arguably shouldn't have won the Champions League. So you think that would buy him a certain amount of credibility. But I love like the new owner who doesn't even know a damn thing about football. Firing the guy, like they fucking bottled the window. You know, if you look at the money they spent on who they spent it, I'm much more confident in United signings, even though we only spent slightly less. And this is good for United. You know, it's like they fired a really good manager. They fired arguably the third best manager in the league.
I know, but Graham Potter
he's a good manager.
He's probably a better. I think he's
not
probably
a better manager than the guy who won the freaking Champions League, bro. Graham Potter is a very good manager, but he was at a very well-run club. Like they are a top,
who was it?
Exceptionally well club. Brighton.
Who was the Matteo Di Matteo? Or Di Matteo won the Champions League with Chelsea and then was sacked next year.
Yes, they do.
So he's not a manager though. He still won the Champions League.
You know, Tuchel's tenure. So like, we were talking about him being a Manchester United coach.
Was bad at Chelsea.
Erik ten Hag.
I mean, he was bad at PSG. Chelsea, yeah, he went on that run, but then like they have started horrible. So I don't know. Graham Potter's a good hire. You're right. This season for our top 4 for United is good for us. This is good news. Yeah. So
Graham Potter's a good manager, of course, but like it takes more than just a manager because now they're showing that at Chelsea, the front office is like all over the place. They took out the woman who was the big deal front office chick underneath Abramovich. Dude, this new guy has no idea, so that's good for us.
Todd Bowley, good luck. All right, you put it in this article here. You want to give me your whole synopsis of Anthony Martial whinging about?
I don't care about
Solskjaer?
This, but there was
like this is.
There's a lot of this came out over the weekend, sir. I'm sure you saw. You were on the Twitter account. Was that like all of the kind of players that were playing under injuries under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we talked about this a lot during the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer day, especially most notably. There was a hip injury with Maguire, but the real one was the broken back FC. Rashford playing with a double fractured vertebrae. We even brought a spine surgeon on for his take, my brother, and he's like, "Hey, don't do that." So this is kind of, I'm not trying to drag Ole under the bus, but this just speaks of kind of the lack of football continuity. You'd imagine you want a front office or DFF or someone who's like kind of overseeing the squad and say, hey, maybe these guys need a blow. Maybe this is Ole's like old school mentality. That used to be that way when United won shit. We were a little bit harder. It's a little bit of a nothing burger, but we also got nothing to talk about because there's no game to recap. So that's why I put it in there.
This is Tony Martial complaining about Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? You understand? So it's like, who cares? Like, who honestly did he play great for them? Like one season, yeah. It's like this guy. He has more. There's more of a priority for him. Like, imagine basically going to Sevilla, being like, I don't like United. United's the problem. He goes to Sevilla, does nothing, then comes back, and then like scores a few goals in preseason, and then feels the need to talk shit about prior managers. That tells you everything you need to know about Tony Martial. I mean, like, I wish the guy just shut his mouth and just scored 20 goals for United. He wouldn't need to like slate Ole and Mourinho. And it's like,
that's why I put it on. That's why I put it on the agenda, sir. Because I want to get your take. That's a good take.
You want to see? You want to hear about Tony Martial's stats in games that aren't preseason for the last 365 days? He is 8th percentile on non-penalty XG, 28th percentile in shots. He is 4th percentile in assists. He is 1st percentile in scoring in XG and X assists, and he is 4th percentile in shot creating actions. He has scored 5 goals since the start of the 2020 season. That is Tony Martial here, sitting on his soapbox, talking smack about former United managers.
Well, my job is done here because I got you fired up. That's all I wanted. I'll tell you what. Do you re-sign his contract? I'm looking right now.
Do you care what Agallo has to say about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Right?
He's probably got nicer things to say.
But you know what I mean? Like a player who, it's like if Ronaldo comes out or something, like players who are successful at United start saying things, I'll listen. But a player who seems to whinge more than he scores. Look, I want Tony. We have a signed picture of him scoring that banger against Liverpool. We're big fans of him. But he seems to be like moody and blaming and making excuses. And I just want him to focus on killing it for United, which, again, he isn't because he's injured. So,
which he usually is.
And so if he's always playing hurt and he's out injured all the time, what does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be like, square that circle. He's out all the time injured, but he plays injured. So is he never healthy?
I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah.
We're not the first player in our team with an injury problem. So we have a recurring theme there. Hopefully they got a top physio at this point. But
no, I just don't need like him to go in the press and start like airing dirty laundry.
That's what happens when there's no football, right? Like these stories start bubbling up, and that's what happened over the weekend, sir, because we should have been talking about us bashing Palace. Retribution for how they treated us the end of May last year. Remember that game? That was fun.
He's averaged, since we brought him in, 8 goals a season since he signed. Chicharito, he averaged 12. Agallo averaged 6. Danny Welbeck, 3 seasons before he went to Arsenal in the first team, 6 goals a season. Tony Martial's 8. He is in company of Danny Welbeck and Agallo. And like Chicharito is like a class above.
And he gets paid $250 a week, bro.
And that is what is the main problem I have with this. Is because you don't hear nothing from Danny Welbeck or Agallo or Chicharito.
All you hear from Agallo is how much he loved Manchester United and playing for Manchester United. Chicharito, same thing, actually. Welbeck, he probably would say the same thing if he wasn't playing for an EPL side. He used to play for Graham Potter, sir. Graham Potter.
All right, let's jump in here to fan questions. At Ty Kircher, quote, how do we feel with our next league match being a Manchester derby? Excited that we should be fully rested or worried we'll be out of form facing Holland? What a world we live in where we're forced to cling to Hans and Franz for United games for a month. Hashtag Glazers out.
Tyler, thanks for the question. I think we got into this. It's a good point. It's like the rest. I don't think you want the rest because Premier League and football, top flight football, it's all about like match fitness and momentum. And obviously you don't want to be playing every 2-3 days, but week in, week out, I think the team was just going to get sharper, better, more opportunities to play together. They're going to, have better intuition about, how the players around them are going to react. So I think this will be a negative for us. Also, you have like players who haven't been playing, going international break. That makes a high injury concern, right? You could have like, God forbid, Varane go down with an injury with the France team, which I would not put past him. That just feels like, like clockwork that's expected. So the City is a foregone conclusion. I mean, the best team in the league. So like, I just want it to be a competitive match. But I think like us not playing for 3 weeks is going to be a negative for United in the long run over the next 10 months. Or 9 months, those games are going to be made up, and they're going to be made up at inopportune times.
For me, I think if we treat it the right way, unfortunately, with the world we live in, is that this should be 0 points. If you had to go on the calendar and mark how many points we should get next to every game, Arsenal coming to our house should be 3. Man City this season should be 0, both games. So if we kind of play it that way and then we kick on against the smaller opposition, I'm fine. In the past, it was the lower opposition games like the Brentford and Brightons that got us, and not the Arsenals and the Manchesters and the Tottenhams. Usually we actually did well, maybe splitting with City. So it's going to be the smaller teams that pack it in. That is going to define our season, not this game. And when I say define our season, I mean the race for top 4.
Here's the best part. Guess how many games we're playing in October, bro?
I told you when
9 games. We have 9
we did our season
games.
preview in October. October is the make or break month. I mean, I'll pull up the fixtures right now here.
October 2nd, City away. And then we have, what's that name? Omiof. No. Ammonia on the road, the 6th. Then we got the Toffees at Everton on the 9th. Then we're playing Ammonia again at home on the 13th. Then we got Newcastle, we got the Toon Army at home on the 16th, then Spurs 3 days later on the 9th. Sorry, it's fucking nuts. Then we got Chelsea on the 22nd, like you said, and then we got the Hammers to finish it off, as well as another game against Sharif. Sir, that is like a make or break month.
This is the make or break month. And the problem with the make or break month is you are playing twice a week the entire time. You play City, you play Chelsea, Tottenham,
Spurs,
and Newcastle and West Ham. And this is like a good Newcastle side on the up.
Right. Same as Spurs.
So it's like, all this good feelings we had that would have continued beating up on Crystal Palace, that would have continued
smashing Leeds scum.
And now it's gonna be like, this is gonna be death.
City 3-0. Ammonia on the road, like 1-1. Everton 1-0.
We previewed the season on the pod. I said October is the make or break month. This month is horrifically bad, and that's why we can't take Europa League seriously, because there's so many games. Look, October 16th, Newcastle. October 19th, Tottenham. October 22nd, Chelsea. October 27th, Sheriff. October 30th, West Ham. That's crazy. We have 5 games in a span of 14 days at the end of October.
But it keeps going. Like, we have 4 games in the first 10 days in November before the World Cup, too. It's like EFL, dude. It's insane.
And this is why, why are we fired up about postponing 2 games, is that one of them probably didn't need to get postponed. And that's really where we come down, because this is crazy, because you look at how we rotated 1 game against Sociedad and we looked horrible. And if we continue that way, it's not going to be good. So let's hope that the boys are getting some good work in on the training pitch, and we can survive October. Next question here at AB_man99, quote, isn't it hard to believe that Casemiro is rightfully being kept out of the starting 11 by McTominay?
I mean, you said it yourself, rightfully. I mean, you would say on paper, like, no way. But if you watch the matches, if you watch the Arsenal game, and the Leicester game, and then you see the matches where Casemiro comes in, I wouldn't have believed it, but like, you see it, and he's playing better than Casemiro. Casemiro's giving the ball away. He's getting exposed, getting caught out. McTominay is playing small ball, dude. He's like finally learning how to just like keep it simple, really simple. Keep the ball recycling. Don't give it away in the middle of the park. Don't get caught out. And by doing that, that's all you kind of need. When you have Eriksen and Bruno next to you and you have Varane behind you, that's enough.
Absolutely. And you said it rightfully. He's rightfully out. And that I find it very hard to believe after watching that Brentford game, and he had the worst performance I've seen in a United shirt in a long time.
Yeah.
Like the worst performance. Like De Gea had a bad one, but McTominay was atrocious. Multiple passes out of bounds to nobody. I haven't even seen Fred hit that low. Like, so but the good point is get out of your system, right? He got it out. Something clicked. He was able to bounce back. And so that's the sign of a good professional. You can have one bad game and then bounce back. So shout out to Scotty McSauce. He deserves it because he's gotten a lot of flack. McFred with cheese is like a running joke, and he doesn't let it get to him, and he keeps on going. And, Mourinho believed in him. That goal against City in the rain before COVID and the whole world changed. I felt like that was the high. Let's hope it's not the high, because he's looking to do a job, but like you said, keep it simple. Paul Scholes said, like, why are you trying to do something with the ball? Pass it to Eriksen and Bruno. Like,
right.
You don't do nothing. You just like literally get the ball back, pass it to them. It's very easy.
That's it. Break up play in the middle of the park. Press down your when you're on defense, and otherwise just like get it to Bruno or get it to Eriksen. You have nothing else to do.
And Casemiro is one of those where the risk of doing that deal is
high.
Risk of doing that deal is that he's had trouble getting fit in the past. He's won everything he could. He's come here to cash out. Yada, yada, yada. Narrative. That's just a narrative. But we've been burned by these deals like Alexis Sanchez, like Falcao, like a bunch of these types of
even
deals.
Varane last year. Varane last year looked like a disaster, right?
Exactly.
He missed half the season.
This is a long deal, and it's a lot of money, and he signed to come in. He's like Antony is signed to come in and play right away. Casemiro is signed to come in and play right away, and right now he's not. Antony is, but apparently you haven't been impressed by the Brazilian. I think that's a good question to ask you. How are you feeling about Antony?
I think we talked about this in the last pod, sir. It's too early to call it, of course. It's not even like you give a guy a full season.
Well, you're like Costanza. You dress up on mood. The way you feel about Anthony, it's.
I mean, I feel the same as I feel about Anthony a week ago or 2 weeks ago, which is like, I don't think he's worth 85 million pounds. And even what we've seen of him thus far, other than the goal, which was a great goal, don't make take away anything from the player.
That was a
It was a great goal. I just said it was a great goal. But how was he otherwise that performance? Didn't do much.
It's pretty.
How was he against the other game he played? Didn't do much. He's got a lot to prove, sir. It's a big price tag. I mean, he's got to live up to Harry Maguire's price tag, sir. That's a big price tag.
He's young.
He's Brazilian.
He's young. He's Brazilian.
And our manager, who we all rate, we all believe in Eric Ten Hag. He's our only hope. He rates him, so that's enough, right? I mean, he rates him, so that's why I rate him. But otherwise, I haven't been like, he hasn't hit the ground running. Would you say, other than that goal, which was a great goal?
I would define him scoring that goal at home against Arsenal as hitting the ground running. So I will say I disagree.
Fair
with
enough.
you. I actually think that is.
Get this guy a new contract.
How could you hit the ground running? What would you define as hitting the ground running?
Well, look at Holland, bro. That's hitting the ground running.
That's sprinting. That's that like Viking sprint through the middle of the park.
That's smashing through the ground.
Exactly. And shout out to John Murtaugh for why he's not wearing a Manchester United jersey. All right, that's it. That's the podcast for fans, by fans. You like the American Devils, please support us on Patreon. We're trying to get to 100 Patreon supporters. You can also support the pod by subscribing, liking, writing a review, grabbing some merch at our store. Check out our website, www.americanreddevils.com. I think that's it, sir. You want to give us our top 10 downloads last 7 days?
Absolutely. Number one, how you doing? Visalia, California, Alpharetta, Georgia, Bellingham, Washington, Middleton, Ohio, Grand Haven, Michigan, Phoenix, Arizona, London, United Kingdom, Las Vegas, Nevada, San Pedro de Macua, Dominican Republic, and last but not least, New York, New York. We also got Bangkok on the list, Harnosand, Sweden, Ajax, Canada, Eiksmarka, Norway. Appreciate all the American Devils listening.
Wow,
week
international
in, week
board.
out. Couldn't do it without you. Go a long way, sir. We got football on Thursday.
Also, little technical difficulty shout out. Apple has been having trouble with our feed. We are emailing like support. So the pod is posted like right away on SoundCloud and apparently Spotify as well. But for some reason, Apple's feed and refresh has been off. So we've been having to email them to get the pods up on Apple. We're doing the best we can to sort that out. But again, it is Apple, and we are two guys and a dog in a bunker sweating. So the fact that you get back to us in 24 hours is a miracle. I don't know what's going on there, but we're trying to sort it out. So thank you to everyone who highlights that. Just want to let you know we are on top of it. But if you want it like right away, I would suggest SoundCloud probably, because it's just like up instantly because we post it there, and then it's supposed to be picked up by the RSS at iTunes. Regardless, we're going to leave you with a European song, sir. What a night. Hey, let's play it again.